A lot of information about social media is in the business to consumer, the B2C sector. Same with case studies, but what about B2B, business to business? What should business to business companies be doing to improve their social media presence?
Well, it's funny you'd ask that actually. I was giving a presentation to ADP, which is a company that provides payroll services to large corporations around the globe. And it was a B2B session. It was basically a kickoff for their sales staff. And these are people that are selling a very complicated product, expensive product to very few and very important clients. And they asked me, how can we leverage social media? We know it's out there, what can we do with it? And our focus of discussion was really around LinkedIn. So I think that's one way of thinking about social media for B2B. Who are your clients? Where do they exist? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Twitter? Or is it, for example, in this case, LinkedIn? And that will probably be the answer for a lot of B2B companies, LinkedIn. And what we talked about is how do you create a good profile on LinkedIn? You know, how can you tweak it? How do you improve it? What kind of pictures should you have? We talked about groups you can join, how you should interact with those groups, how you should approach potential prospects, how you can leverage LinkedIn for prospecting, etc. You know, when is it okay or not okay to invite people to connect with you, and how should you do it, etc. So there's a lot to be said and explored around that particular space. It's very much a one-to-one kind of basis. You know, ADP wanted to empower the salespeople to do this more efficiently. So the big question is, how can we then how can we scale this? How can we do this on a more industrial level? And I think a really good example there, I met with Autodesk when I was in San Francisco a few months ago. And Autodesk provides very advanced software for engineers and architects to design and draw buildings. And they were struggling with servicing their customers in the customer service center because they have users all over the world, multiple languages obviously, but they also have very complicated questions, because you can imagine the kind of problems they would stumble across. It's not, you don't just restart your software like maybe we as a consumers can get away with doing when we have problems. And they were struggling to handle the calls efficiently, or the complaints efficiently, or answering the questions efficiently, because they couldn't employ enough intelligent customer sales representatives to match the customer expectations. So they said, you know, we have all these clever users, why don't we connect them with each other? So they opened up a forum that enabled architects from all over the world to connect with other architects and ask the questions on the forum. And what it did is obviously reduced customer service number of calls coming into customer service. They could reduce staff, so they were saving money, and customers were getting help quicker, and they were making, you know, probably one or two useful connections along the way in terms of networking. So as a company, they were enabling people to be doing the job more efficiently, but also getting some other side benefits out of that. So those are two examples of how B2B can work and how it should work. But definitely it's one of those areas that we will spend a lot of time and focus going forward, kind of really nailing how do you scale this? How do you replicate the B2C kind of experience for our B2B environment? Because in the end of the day, we might be a buyer or seller of corporate products in the day, but in the evening, we're going to still be logging on to our personal social channels, and so we have a private life alongside our kind of corporate identity. So I think the gap will not be that tremendous